Welcome to Mike's Camping Trip Road Trip Sequoia 2017. Alright, I want to make a quick video here to show you what I did to get up to the Sequoia National Forest, the route I took, show you some of the scenes that I captured on my video camera as well as on my regular camera, and all the different wildlife and scenery that I was able to capture. Alright, so I got on the I-5, drove through Santa Clarita, as you can see that right down there, and then entered into, I guess you would call that, the Los Angeles National Forest, up I-5, up into these mountains, about 4,000 elevation. And then there's Pyramid Lake, drove past Pyramid Lake, drove past Junction 138, I think, to Bakersfield, or to Lancaster, I should say. And then there's a couple small towns, Lebec, and then down this really steep slope into the San Joaquin Valley. I think this is the San Joaquin Valley. So I got off of I-5 and got onto Route 99, which takes you straight into Bakersfield. And that's a pretty straight route, as you can see right there, a couple little turns. And as you can see, we're entering, this is the Bakersfield, I guess, city or metropolis or whatever you want to call it. And then after I drove through Bakersfield, I got onto Route 65. Took that another 25 miles. Oh, the whole trip is about 225 miles one way. Okay, so took 65 to Ducor, which is this little tiny town right here, and then I made a right on Route 56. It's got several different names, Junction 22, Route 56, and a couple other names, so but I call it Route 56. Okay, so we take Route 56 about 10 miles until we actually hit the foothills and then eventually get into the mountains, as you can see. And this is actually, I got some scenery coming up. I got some great photos of the west side of the mountain ranges. I've got a photo slide at the end of this video, and you're going to see a couple of really nice shots of the western face. So look forward to that. So as you can see, it's really curvy. There's a lot of hills, a lot of real tight turns, up and down into the valley. Now this is California Hot Springs Valley, and you drive up through this little town right here, as you can see. Beautiful farmland, by the way. Lots of roaming hills, and there was actually coyote, there was rattlesnakes, there was some kind of bobcats. What else did I see? A lot of cows. Alright, so this is where you actually start getting into the mountains, and this is called the Pass. And this gets up to about 7,500 feet right here already. So you go over the pass, and then there's the Continental Divide to the left. Then you drive down here into Johnsondale, which is actually the start of the Kern River Valley. As you can see, the brown area on the right there, that's the Kern River Valley. And so you take this red route here is the route that we're taking along the road to the camping site, and it's quite a ways. From when you hit the mountains, it's probably 75 miles of mountain road driving till the actual campsite. So you can see there's a lot of mountain peaks, there's plenty of scenery, and I've got a lot of pictures of the scenery towards the end of this video. So look at that photo slideshow towards the end, and you'll see a lot of really cool pictures. So you drive over here, and just by the way, that was the Needles, that big peak right there was called Needles Peak. And as you can see, the camping spot is coming up. Here we are. This is the first campsite that I stayed at. Now this is the campsite I stayed at most of the time. Alright, and as you can see, this is a 360-degree view of the campsite. You can hear the stream, which is actually down to the left. I'll show you there in a second. So that's the campsite. There's the fireplace, and there's my camp stove and food and stuff. And then if you go down this little path right here, there's a nice stream, or a babbling brook if you want to call it that. And there's some trout in there, and there's birds everywhere, lizards, insects. There's a couple of ground squirrels, cows, actually. There's cows on the other side of the stream. Alright, here's a giant fallen log. So the stream goes all up and down the campsite. The campsite is actually kind of unique because it's divided by the road on one side and the stream on the other, and so it's actually kind of cut off. Oh, there's a fish jumping. So I was looking at, this is crystal clear, by the way. It looks a little bit brown because of the lighting, and also the actual stream bed itself is kind of a glistening golden color. There's a nice rainbow trout right there, one of the first trout that I actually saw, so I got out the camera as fast as I could and got some shots of that. And this campsite is very peaceful. There was only 1 or 2 people that came through while I was there for almost 2 weeks. There's a little dam, man-made dam that somebody made, show you the flow of the stream. It's not very rapid, but I can tell you right now, it does move a lot of water, so there's plenty of water flowing through there. And as you can see, there's the fish down there. This is actually right off of my campsite. Just as you walk down the little ramp or the little path from my campsite, you can see the stream, and there's plenty of little fish in here. So I got the camera out, and I spent about 5 hours trying to get 5 minutes worth of actual footage of the fish, because they would not stay still. Whenever I would come by, they would get spooked and swim under the log or disappear, and I would actually have to put the tripod down and walk away from the tripod, and then I could get some action. So here you can see the fish was using the dam as his like a goalie, and he's about to score. Watch this. Boom, there you go. He got something, hopefully. So he would sit by the dam and zigzag back and forth, catching anything coming his way. And here he's going up from the dam down to the little log, which is just about 20 feet north of the dam. They like to sit under that log. There he goes. He got something. There's 2 of them now. You'll see there's 2 of them there, and they're swimming around, having fun. Trying to capture them, though, is tricky because they see you and they really try to swim away. This guy here, he didn't know what to do. He was trying to swim past me, and he decided maybe I should just stop right here. And I got some really good pictures of this rainbow trout. Look at him. Just, I almost want to say majestic, but he's only about 7 or 8 inches, so maybe he's 12 inches. But he's a little guy, but you know what? He's definitely very, very well built or healthy or whatever you want to say. He looks good. I'm sure he's going to get bigger too. Alright, so there he is, just hanging out, giving me some really good pictures of him. And then he's about to do a little acrobatic maneuver for us. So he's swimming about. He's got something on his mind. He's hungry. Let's see what he does. There you go. Hopefully he got a little fly or something. So he put on a show for us. It only took me about 5 hours to get these 5 minutes worth of fish shots, but it was worth it. It was a lot of fun. What do you see? Oh my god, look at that. There's a grasshopper. He's invisible, hiding in the camouflage. There's lots of grasshopper, and the birds seem to be, I don't know if they're eating the grasshopper or other insects, but there was lots of grasshopper and flies in the fields and stuff, and the birds would be zigzagging in and out, catching the insects, I'm sure of it. Some of the birds were actually also eating flowers off the ground. I was quite amazed. Here, you can see these birds here. They're actually eating little flowers. I did not expect that. I thought they would eat like bugs or seeds, but they just eat the whole flower bud. I mean, they're not really big flowers, but they're just eating the flower buds right off of the bushes, so it was interesting to watch that. Here's a bird. There's a huge log, and you can see the end of the log there. Somebody cut a piece off of it and makes a little bird feeding dish. And this bird here, you think that I'm really close to it, but I'm actually not. All of these shots I'm using high zoom telephoto lenses. So here you can see I'm backing up. And I don't even back up all the way. I'm still a good 20-30 feet away from this bird. I just stopped backing up because I was so far back. Again, I'm zooming in, but I'm actually quite far away from these birds. And here's a lizard. Lizard on a log, having a sunbathe. Oh yeah, some horse packers came through and actually camped out in the campsite. Here you can see them pulling in and deciding whether or not they're going to camp here, and they ended up camping here. I got some more photos of them, but I figured this video is going to be the best representation of the horses and the packers, so I just left this. I didn't put any other pictures of the horses in. I actually talked to them, and when they left in the morning, I really wish I had set up the camera to get them actually leaving, because if I had set the camera up properly, it would have been a great scene, having all 3 packers with their horses walking past the camera. Would have made a great scene, but Next time I'll know better. A lot of the stuff that I did this time was just kind of learning how to use the equipment again, because I haven't used it for so many years. And then also, the video editing was a lot of work too, putting all the images together, getting them to work properly, it's kind of like when you do construction, you think you got everything done, and then like at the very end something comes loose and you got to go tighten the screws. So there was a lot of like tinkering to get everything to work properly and get it to look as good as possible. Okay, here's the campsite. This is towards the end of my camping trip, and I had everything set up really nice. Here's your camp stove here, which I would actually cook beans and eggs and other things. And I actually have a hot water dispenser. I don't know if you noticed that right there. Here's the actual, the stove, I guess, or the stove. And I had built a little wooden thing to latch it, and you can see the hot water dispenser, which works really good. Have hot water on tap while you're camping is great. There's all the dishes. There's the stream water for cleaning all the dishes and stuff. There's my food. You can see I have everything set up really nice. I actually also did laundry while I was there. I used the water and used soap and actually did a load of laundry. Cleaned it and hung it up on the side of the... I basically, just sun-dried all the clothes, but they came out fine. I had a candle and I burnt out all the wax, so I had put a couple of sticks in there to make it aesthetic. Dishes and towels, and I actually used that pot right there. I would heat up water on the stove, and then I would put a towel. I would fill that up with hot water, and then I would actually put a towel in there and actually take a bath or a shower with the hot water towel. So here's some pictures of the birds eating flowers, which really surprised me that they were eating flowers like that. There's a bird just hanging out. There's a little chick on the ground under a log. Here's some more birds. Some pictures of birds on trees. There was all kinds of birds. They're very hard to catch because they move so fast, and really if you get close to them, they fly away. So you have to really use the telephoto lens, and then once you zoom in as far as I would, getting the exact focus is very difficult. Here's some really nice flowers. There's all kinds of beautiful mountain flowers and fawn and fern and all this stuff. Here's another picture of the lizard. Another lizard on the log. There was some spiders, little jumping spiders, which were, I guess, eating the insects. Okay, now this is the west side. This is the pictures. As you can see, the foliage, the plants. This is the west side, coming up the west side. So you can tell this is more of a western. And this is the pass. This is all the way up top. This is the pass, and here's some scenic pictures coming up right now. And there's the Needles, one of the pictures from the Needles. This is the Western Continental. Now check this out. This is my telephoto lens, so I'm zooming in here. I'm zooming in just with the optical zoom, not the digital zoom. And you can see I can zoom in very far. Watch this. I zoom in. If you see there's a tree, I'm going to zoom into the tree. There it is right there. Boom. See how close I can get with that tree? And I don't think I was using the tripod when I did that. If I used the tripod, it would be... Now, the woodpecker. This is the red-headed woodpecker, and that's not a sexual innuendo. That's an actual bird. And he was very hard to capture. Oh, there's a yellow finch. That was also a hard bird to catch. Got a couple of those. And there are some scenic pictures of the mountains, the road, as I was driving up the mountain. So you can really see it was just absolutely beautiful. Lots of fresh air and fresh scenery. And you can actually see the scenery changes as you come up the Kern River Valley. It turns from more of a desert, arid landscape to a lush forest, which is very interesting to see. There's the Needles. There's a little bit close-up picture of the Needles. And this is the final road till the campsite. There's the campfire as I showed you. And thanks for watching.